In the chaos of World War II, battles were often decided by numbers. More men, more tanks, more firepower. But on one frozen morning in 1944, deep inside the forests of Belgium, the war was changed not by an army, but by one tank fighting alone against an entire advancing battalion. This is the unbelievable story of the American M4 Sherman Cobra King, the lone tank that held back the German spearhead during the Battle of the Bulge, buying the Allies precious hours that would change the fate of the Western Front. A single tank crew, a single narrow road, and a German force 10 times larger than anything they could hope to defeat. December 19, 1944. Fog smothers the Ardennes forest. Snow muffles the world, and the American front line is collapsing. Hitler has unleashed hundreds of tanks and armored vehicles in a desperate gamble, a surprise offensive meant to punch through Allied lines and split the armies in two. Columns of German armor push through mountain passes, crushing defenses, overrunning towns, and sending entire American divisions into retreat. On a lonely stretch of road outside Bastogne, a small unit of U.S. tankers receives their orders. Hold the road. Hold it at all costs. They have one Sherman tank, a handful of rifles, and a single position overlooking the only route the Germans can use to advance. If they fail, Bastogne falls. If Bastogne falls, the Ardennes falls. If the Ardennes falls, the Allies lose their chance to end the war quickly. The stakes could not be higher. Inside the steel belly of the Sherman, the crew prepares for what they know is coming. Staff Sergeant Paul Jackson, the gunner, checks the elevation gear, frozen stiff. Corporal Sam Haynes, the loader, stacks shells within reach, armor-piercing, high-explosive, whatever they have left. Lieutenant James Burke, commander, studies the fog ahead, listening for engines, tracks, anything. But there is nothing, just wind. And then, a low, thunderous rumble. Burke mutters a warning. Jackson swings the turret. Haynes loads the first round. Through the mist emerges a nightmare. German Panthers, their dark silhouettes crawling toward the roadblock like steel beasts. The crew knows the Panthers can slice a Sherman in two with a single shot. But retreat isn't an option. The lead Panther sees the Sherman. Its turret swivels. Time slows. Jackson fires. The 75mm shell slams into the Panther's lower glacis, a weak point. The tank erupts into flame, blocking the narrow road behind it. The Germans are shocked. They expected retreating Americans, not a lone tank standing in defiance. More silhouettes appear. Half-tracks, infantry, another Panther. The Sherman reverses behind its defensive ridge. Haynes reloads. Jackson takes aim again. Second shot. Hit. A half-track explodes, scattering troops into the snow. Third shot. Hit. A German armored car is blown off the road. Smoke fills the forest. Snow and fire mix in a blinding storm. The single Sherman has forced an entire battalion to halt. But the Germans recover quickly. Mortars and machine guns rake the ridge. Anti-tank crews move into position. The Panthers split, trying to flank the lone American tank. Burke orders the driver, Wilson, to reposition. The Sherman crawls backward, engine screaming, treads slipping in the icy mud. A German shell whistles past, exploding against a tree. Shrapnel rains on the hull. Inside, the crew hears the ringing metallic clang of incoming fire. Then, a direct hit. The Sherman rocks violently. The lights inside flicker. Smoke fills the turret. but the armor holds. Jackson wipes his eyes, slams his fist on the breech, and growls, "Load me another." Haynes throws in an armor-piercing round. The gun roars. A German Panzer IV bursts into flame. The German advance stalls once again. Minutes turn into an hour, then another. The forest is littered with burning wrecks, some German, some American jeeps abandoned in retreat. The Sherman has taken multiple hits. Exhaust flames flicker violently. The barrel is glowing red hot. But the crew fights on. Burke radios for support. Silence. Every American unit within miles is either overrun or retreating. They are alone. The Germans circle again. Infantry rush forward with anti-tank charges. Jackson switches to HE rounds and fires into the tree line. Explosions rip open the forest. Shattered branches rain down like knives. The attackers fall back again. Hours pass. The Germans can still not get through. One tank, one crew, stopping an entire armored column. At dusk, the Germans make one last attempt to force the pass. A Panther charges straight down the road, using the burning wreck of the earlier tank as cover. The Sherman crew is exhausted. The ammunition racks are almost empty. Burke orders the final armor-piercing round loaded. Jackson waits, and just as the Panther clears the wreck, he fires. The shot hits the turret ring. The Panther freezes, smokes, and detonates. The Germans break. Their advance collapses. They fall back into the woods. The Sherman stands alone, battered, smoking, immobile, but victorious. And behind it, American reinforcements finally arrive. The road to Bastogne is still in Allied hands. The tank's name was painted on its armor, Cobra King. Its stand became one of the most legendary moments of the Ardennes campaign. Historians estimate it destroyed multiple armored vehicles, dozens of infantry, and halted a force more than 10 times its size. The crew received commendations. The tank became a symbol of defiance, a reminder that in war, numbers alone don't decide everything. Sometimes courage matters more. Sometimes a single tank can change history. And sometimes one crew can stop a battalion.